Well, howdy. I'm honored to be here today with you. I've had the opportunity to work with Ms. Opperman here a couple of times and enjoy the dialogue and the discourse. I'm going to talk a little bit about integration of women in the Corps. I'm the Commandant of the Corps Cadets, and I'm a graduate of Texas A&M. I was a member of the Corps. And like Congressman Flores, I was in the Corps Cadets at a time when women were just being integrated. A tough time. I won't say that it was easy because it wasn't. Kind of like when we integrated women into the military, women being integrated into the Corps Cadets was a very difficult time for the university and more importantly for those young ladies. Women first petitioned to be members of the Corps in 1973 and a plan was developed called the Minerva Plan, had two phases to it. And in 1974, the first all-female outfit was created in the Corps Cadets called W1. There were 51 members of that outfit. It was commanded by a male, but there were 51 young ladies that became members of that first outfit. By the end of the year, only 25 were left. Again, 1974. I arrived on campus in the fall of 1975. Now, Congressman Flores is class of 76, and I'm sure that when he gets up here, he'll be able to tell a little bit more in-depth, first-hand accounting of what it was like to start off at A&M in the Corps with no females and then watch them get integrated while he was here as a cadet. When I got here in 1975, women had been here a year. And I can tell you that it was not a popular thing to be a member of the Corps Cadets and have females in uniform in the Corps. Very, very difficult for those young ladies. And I was in the Fighting Texas Aggie Band, which at the time was all male. And we swore that by God there were never going to be females in the Fighting Texas Aggie Band, ever. It was never going to happen. 1985, the first female entered the Fighting Texas Aggie Band. And by the way, today the Aggie Band is about 440 strong. We were about 300 strong, all male when I was here, and usually after about the first couple of weeks, we were down to about 80 or so. We were all male, and now the band is 440 strong, and 20% of the Fighting Texas Aggie Band is female. In 1989, the decision was made to try to integrate what had habitually been all male outfits with females. So 3 outfits were chosen, and females were brought in and put in these outfits to live male and females together. Now, I don't say in rooms together, but in outfits together. So they lived basically one outfit fit on one floor of the dorm. So we had female rooms and male rooms, and of course female bathrooms. There were many that argued that it would fail miserably, and it succeeded beyond anybody's wildest dreams. And the next year, all female outfits were eliminated from the Corps Cadets. Today, we have no all-female outfits. We have gender-integrated outfits throughout the Corps. Out of 46 company-sized outfits in the Corps, all but 9 are gender-integrated, which is a huge, huge step forward for females in the Corps Cadets. And now, again, I spent 31 years in the United States Army, and I left that all-male bastion called the Fighting Texas Aggie Band in 1979, going into the Army as a combat arms officer, thinking that, I was going to be leading men. And my first outfit was a Lance missile unit, half of the soldiers of which were female. So it was a rude awakening for me. So coming back to the Corps Cadets, one of the most important things on my mind was, how are we doing with integrating females into the Corps? And believe it or not, when I first stood in front of the cadets and addressed them, the first question I got was, are you going to try to integrate all the outfits with females? First question I got. I hadn't been up there 2 minutes. And this is what I told them. Every outfit in the Corps is gender integratable. Every single outfit is gender integratable. And like I said, now today, females, my first year here, I got here in November of 2010. My first year here, females made up 9% of the Corps. Today, we make up 15% of the Corps. And my goal is to continue to grow that population every year. Because what I've learned is when I bring in more females, I do two things. Number one, I grow the Corps, which was one of the missions given to me by then President Bowen Lofton. And the second thing is I raise our grade point average significantly by bringing in more females. I will tell you there's a direct correlation between the growth of females in the Corps and the raising of our grade point average in the Corps. It's funny how that happens. So we've come a long way. We have females that are part of every single organization in the Corps Cadets, to include the Fighting Texas Aggie Band, the Fish Drill Team, the Ross Volunteers, who are the honor guard of the governor of the state of Texas, Parsons Mounted Cavalry, and every other organization out there in our Corps. There are females represented. Probably the most important thing, however, is that last year, for the first time ever in the 139-year history of the Corps Cadets, we selected our first female Corps Commander, Alyssa Mahalke. And unfortunately, I asked her to be here today because I really wanted to ask her to say a few words about that. But as luck would have it, she's in her 5th year. She was going to graduate in December, and lo and behold, she went and tried out for the women's basketball team and made it. And she is now a member and, oh, by the way, a selected team captain of the women's basketball team here, working for Coach Gary Blair, and she's over in practice right now. So I couldn't convince her to get over here. But we were very, very proud of the fact that the year after we celebrated 40 years of women in the Corps Cadets, a female took command of the Corps. And you want to talk about huge, in May we do final review, which means it's the last time the seniors are going to march around, and then we do 2 passes. The first one is the last time the seniors march, and then the second one is the first time the newly elected, selected leaders of the Corps pass and review. That second review, Alyssa Mahalke became the first female ever to lead the Corps. And there were about 25 women who had been among that first class from W1 that were there, and it was amazing to watch these ladies crying, standing there watching proudly as Alyssa Mahalke, led the Corps across Simpson Drill Field. A proud moment for them, a proud moment for me, a proud moment for our Corps, a proud moment for our university, because for those ladies, it made everything they endured when they started back in 1974 worth it. And they would tell you that it was all worth it to watch Alyssa Mahalke lead the Corps across the field last year. And as luck would have it, this year's Corps Commander is named Cecile Sorio. And not by chance. I tell people, when we go to select the leaders of our Corps, gender and ethnicity have no bearing whatsoever on that. As the Commandant, I want the best leaders leading our Corps, period. And I don't care if you're male, female, if you're white, black, brown, green, yellow. About the only color I won't accept is orange. But it doesn't matter. And it's amazing to me how, as we did this, there's always argument about, all right, well, I think it should be this guy, I think it should be that guy. The last 2 years with those 2 female Corps commanders, there wasn't a bit of argument. It was unanimous, which says a lot about how far we've come as a Corps, and the fact that the last 2 years females have risen to the top position in our Corps Cadets, and what that means for the future. I can't tell you how proud I am of the fact that women are fully integrated in our Corps now. I'm proud to see where we are, but we have a long way to go yet. We aren't satisfied. We aren't resting on our laurels. I've still got 9 all-male units that, I hope to gender integrate over the next few years. But more importantly, I want to continue to grow our female population in the Corps. Again, we've come a long way since 1974 and the Minerva Project and the advent of W1, and our goal is to continue to move those numbers forward into the future. And oh, by the way, Cecile Sorio is going to commission into the U.S. Air Force, potentially as a pilot. I also have a female in the Corps who is going to commission in the United States Army and has selected infantry as her branch. And I tell you, this young lady's harder than woodpecker lips, and I think if anybody can make it, she can. So, again, we're real proud of where we've come over the last 40-something years, and we hope to continue that progress well into the future. Thank you very much.